The almighty Prince Vegeta!
Yo guys, in today's video I'm going to be making a tier list based on all the brand new units from the 3rd anniversary. So that includes the 4 extreme units, the 4 regular sparking units, and the 2 brand new legendary finish units. So I've gone with 5 tiers. That might be a bit much because we've only got 10 characters, but we'll see. If maybe I feel like it's too many at the end, I'll adjust it accordingly and, you know, sort it out. But anyway, let's jump straight into it. So I'm just going to place all the extremes where I feel like they are. So I'm going to put you in A. I'm going to put you in B. And I'm going to put you in B as well. I'm going to keep Super Baby 2 in C. So I'll start off with Super Baby 2. So straight off the bat, this guy isn't going to get on any of his teams. Regen, there's Zamasu and Omega Shenron, Revival Cell. Powerful opponent, same again. Saiyans, there ain't no way in hell he's getting on Saiyans. And, I mean, any of his other teams that he might be able to fit on, he's not going to have any synergy there, and there's just plenty of options over him, man. His kit isn't bad. He is strike based. When he pops his main, he discards his opponent's hand and gets -10 to strike costs. He does decent damage against Saiyans, but he is very conditional. I mean, I think he gets card draw speed against Goku for like 5 counts against Goku units. So, I mean, he's not bad, but just nothing special. And to be honest with you, I'd be very surprised if you ever see him run on any team. So, going up, we next have Rose Goku Black. So, he is a defense unit. So, his stats and his offense especially are very average. You're not going to see him run over Future Gohan on Future, which is the team he'd preferably like to be on. On Powerful Opponent, they have the Zenkai Frieza. And to be honest with you, even though he's trash, even the Yellow Broly would be run over him. So, once again, not going to get on any of his teams. Getting into his kit, he gets 80 ki on main. Reduces his enemy ki by 70 when he lands his blue card, which isn't bad. He has decent support. And he gets a bunch of enemy attribute downgrades. So he's not a bad unit, but, you know, nothing special, very average. Then next, at the top of B, we have Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. So with him, it is a little bit of a shame that he came out on the same banner as Super Saiyan 4 Goji R, because they are both fusion units and they're both green, and they both want to be run on fusions, so it is a little bit of a shame. But his kit is actually pretty decent. And if there wasn't such a clear favourite over him on fusions, I probably would have put him low A. So getting into his kit, he gets card reload on main, he gets 20 ki every time he comes in, does decent damage and gets reduced art costs, but the main reason why I like him is because he has death buffs. So whenever he dies, his allies get 25% damage and they also get healed by 30%, so pretty decent if you ask me. But just because of the fact that he's not ever going to be run on fusions, he can only be beat for me. So next, we have Super 17. So this guy is in fact a purple android. So android have been crying out for a purple for God knows how long. The last viable purple they had was Evil 21, who fell off like months and months and months ago. So he's not quite what they need. They do need a much more powerful purple unit, but he will fill the gap and he will be a main on that team for a while. So jumping into his kit, stacks a lot of blast damage. Can do really a lot of blast damage once he gets, going, gets those blast damage buffs stacked. He draws a blast card whenever he comes in, up to 3 times. And this is the big one for me, and which is going to make him really irritating to play against. So whenever he lands his blue card, he reduces his opponent's ki by 100, which is huge. I mean, that is going to be real annoying to play against, but like I said, he's only an extreme unit, so he can't go in S really. He's not like Goji R from last year. The red extreme Goji R, he's not that good, but he's decent, and he probably will see play, so A tier for me. Next up, we have the 2 Shenrons, Ice and Nova. Now, I have these on a very similar level. I'm not really sure where to rank them in regards of which one goes above the other, so I'm just going to leave them like that. But I guess it comes down to preference, whichever you prefer. So these 2 have some of the most busted main abilities on the game. So Ice, before I get into their main abilities, let me just say, so both of these are absolutely fantastic on GT, absolutely fantastic, but the only problem with them is they have no versatility outside of that. They have literally no other teams. In their tags, it's like Twins, GT, and what else is it? Shadow Dragons, and that is literally it. don't have powerful opponent, don't have regen, nothing like that. So outside of GT, like if GT ever falls off again, these two are just rendered useless. So I can't put them high S. They're going to be low S for me. But when run on GT, their kits are really good. So getting into their main abilities. So for Ice, reduces his enemy vanish gauge by 100%, shortens ally sub count, draws a blue card, gets 40 ki, and also gets 40% damage inflicted, which is nuts. Nova replenishes his own vanish gauge by 100%, locks his opponent in for 10 counts, destroys both your hands, and also increases his own card draw speed. So some of the most absolutely busted mains on the game, especially just for regular sparking units. It's a shame they don't have ultimates, but you know, it is what it is. So in their other effects, as Shenron, he has the ultimate Gohan effect, where whenever your opponent tags out, the character that comes in has all their strat cards locked, which can get very annoying. And he has a lot of enemy attribute downgrades. So, you know, a decent unit. Nova, when he's in for 5 counts, gets card draw speed. When he's in for 8 counts, he gets 50 ki. And that refreshes every time he comes in. And he has an effect where the more Dragon Balls he has, the more damage he does. So a lot of stackable damage for him, but I think they're very similar in regards to their sort of like level. So I'm going to put them low S, and it's down to personal preference which of the two you'd rather have above the other one. Next, Super Vegito. I always call him Super Vegito. We have Vegito Blue. So I'm going to put Vegito Blue at the top of S. So when you pop his main, heals by 25%. He has an absolute nuke of an ultimate. Restores his vanish when you use it. You don't even have to land it, you just have to use it. And he also gets card draw speed. He supports pretty well for a range unit. Not quite as well as Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, but, you know, pretty decent. He has permanently reduced blast costs. I think it's -10. He stacks a lot of damage. And then his green card, which is very, very good, increases card draw speed, locks opponent in for 5 counts, and even destroys an opponent's Dragon Ball. So very, very nice unit. And in my opinion, probably the top of S. I'm going to put Kevlar just below him. So yeah, top of S for me. So speaking of Kevlar, jumping into her kit. So she is melee based. Vegito Blue is ranged, I forgot to say that. So Kevlar is strike based. Very oppressive unit. Every time she lands a strike or a blast, it increases her damage inflicted by like 15% each time, up to a possible 60%, I think it is. So very, very oppressive. When she uses her ult, it nullifies cover rescue, so that's always nice. And she has her own ability, which has never been seen before, which is whenever she forces her opponent to vanish, she restores her own vanish gauge up to twice. She gets 20 ki, and also draws a card if she has 3 cards or less. So very, very oppressive unit. Can't really be passive with her, can't really be patient, you just got to go for it. Just absolutely bombard your opponent, and she is a menace, I can't even lie. But I mean, Fusion Warriors has 2 reds. He has Zamasu, has Goji R. I mean, she's not going to be first choice on fusions. On female warriors, she has Launch. I mean, she probably is better than Launch, but Launch has really good synergy with the other characters. Rival Universe, she's probably the best on there, to be fair. So she has quite a few teams, and she's viable on a few teams, but the main team which she wants to be run on, which is fusions, in my opinion, she's not the top unit. So that's why I'd put her below Vegito Blue, in my opinion. So finally, we have the 2 legendary finish characters. Now, this largely comes down to personal preference, but for me, obviously, it might be a little bit biased. I'm going to have Zamasu number 1, and I'm going to have Goji R number 2, and I'll tell you why. So before I get into their kits, the reason why I've got Zamasu at number 1 and just edging Goji R is the fact that he is the top dog on all of his teams. The top red unit on all of his teams. Maybe outside of Fusion Warriors because of red Goji R. But powerful opponent, he's number 1. Regen, number 1. Future, number 1. God Key, number 1. Undisputed, there's no argument for any of it. He is the best red unit on all of his teams outside of fusions. So I can't even lie. Absolutely love Zamasu. I might be a little bit biased, like I said, but love Zamasu. Goji R, he's number 1 on Fusion Warriors, no doubt. But when it comes to Saiyans, which is also a huge team, where a lot of people would like to run him, I mean, is he better than Super Saiyan 3 Goku? At low stars, is he better than Zenkai 7 Broly? So, you know, there is a conversation to be said for that. But anyway, getting into their kit. So we'll start with Goji R. Like I said, he's very versatile. On his main, he increases his card draw speed, restores his health by 30%, and also goes tap neutral, which is very nice. He can have up to 80% damage reduction the first time he gets hit. So, I believe it's 50% usually, but then if you tag him in on his cover card, he also has 30%. So if you save him and bring him in for like a rush or something, he has 80% damage reduction, so he could eat a rush light work. So after that, every time he comes in gets 30 ki. He has a UI style cover change, so he cover changes blast or strike twice, which is very nice. And also, which I like about him, which it's not going to happen all the time, but when it does happen, it's very nice. Whenever he triggers a revival mechanic, you get 2 Dragon Balls, and he also restores 20% health. So, very stacked kit. I also think he has blast armor on pretty much everything. So, yeah, very nice unit, man. I also like that they made him defense based as well. So he has a pretty evened out stats. He has pretty evened out stats. So, very nice. But getting into my favorite and in my opinion the best character on this team, who I feel like will age very well as well, we have Zamasu. So, like I said, most versatile unit out of all of these. He stacks damage very similar to Kevlar, where every time he lands a strike or a blast, it stacks up to a potential 60%. He has the best green card in the game in my opinion. He has a quick knockback animation, locks his opponent in and goes type neutral. And whenever he lands a blue card, he straight away gets a green card, and I think that happens twice. So the rate that this guy gets green cards is absolutely ridiculous. Like if Whis, EX Whis ever gets a Zenkai and you run in with him on like a red green, for example, with Goji R, that would be nuts. Absolutely nuts. So on top of that, on his main, nullifies endurance for 30 counts. So not just when you use his ult, after that as well, nullifies endurance. Restores his health by 20%. His ult hits like an absolute truck. It locks you in when he uses it and also reduces your ki by 100. Every time the opponent hits him, it reduces the opponent's ki by 5. He also has the LF Broly effect, where anytime your opponent switches out, it restores his gauge by 50%, and he can do that up to 8 times. Now, in my opinion, this is what separates him from Goji R. So, whenever he defeats an opponent, when the next opponent comes in, they have no cards. He destroys all their cards. So he is the perfect unit to Rising Rush with. I've been doing it 24/7, keep doing it with him. Every time I get a Rising Rush, I use the green card, lock them in. Rising Rush is pretty much game over from there. Because his ult is more or less a one-hit kill on anyone that isn't like a stacked Zenkai defensive unit, to be honest. He can one-hit Android 18. He's literally the counter for Android 18 in my opinion as well. So, love Zamasu. I have him at 7 stars. Highly rate him. And yeah, man, that's my tier list. I know a lot of people might disagree, but that's my opinion. If you feel differently, let me know down below who you'd have where. But yeah, man, thanks for watching as always. Like, subscribe if you're new, and I'm out.